Hello, my name is Jari Huikku. Let me pose a question that has fascinated and motivated me in my research over the years. How can firms avoid previous mistakes in their strategic investment? This is an essential question for the survival of a firm. Namely, success in strategic investment greatly affects how a firm can achieve its long-term objectives. By strategic investments, we mean substantial investments that involve high levels of risk and typically produce outcomes that can be difficult to quantify. These investments include new factories, the introduction of significant new product lines, substantial shifts in production capability, and firm acquisitions. Strategic investments have a significant impact on a firm's performance and consequently its economic sustainability. Together with social and environmental sustainability, economic sustainability forms the so-called three pillars of sustainability. To be able to be sustainable, a business must make successful investments and be profitable. There are numerous examples of unsuccessful investments and their unpleasant consequences to the firms and their managers. We may remember investments in nuclear power plants, paper mills in distant countries, 3G licenses in Central Europe, underground traffic in the metropolitan area, information technology investment in the public and private sector, and banking systems. It's possible to make mistakes in all phases of the investment process. In the ideation phase, planning phase, and implementation phase. The mistakes can be related to over-optimism in estimating cash flows, exceeding the cost budget, delays in implementation, or insufficient testing before putting the investment into operation. One of the key focuses in my research has been to investigate how firms could learn from their prior investments. Specifically, I have addressed the role of post-completion auditing in this organizational learning to enable effective strategic investment decision-making for firms. Post-completion auditing, or PCA, is a formal process that checks the outcomes of individual investment projects after the initial investment is completed and operational. Typically, firms conduct these PCAs about 1-2 years after the completion of the investment. Nowadays, conducting PCAs is common among large firms in Finland and abroad. Evaluation of the success of a completed investment is a core function of PCA. However, research suggests that the primary objective for firms to conduct PCA is to enhance organizational learning for future investments. Based on the research, PCA facilitates the generation and conveying of feedback on experiences to develop strategic investment processes. By analyzing the investments with the aid of PCA, firms can generate valuable feedback for the planning and implementation of future projects. For example, they gain insights to improve the accuracy and realism of key cash flow components in investment calculations and better manage the implementation and startup phases. In my research, I, with my great colleagues, have focused on the design aspects of a PCA system. We investigate how a firm could construct its PCA system to enable the effective reuse of learning experiences. We address various design properties of the system, such as selecting projects undergoing PCA, the timing of PCA, locating responsibility for PCA system, and persons conducting PCA. My main interest within PCA research is specifically related to the communication aspects in PCA process design. Communication aspects include the ways how the findings of post-completion auditing are presented, discussed, and stored for later use in a firm. I saw the critical role of joint presentation forums and databases in effective knowledge sharing in my studies. In studying organizational learning related aspects in PCA and consequently proposing effective ways for firms' knowledge management, we can concretely help firms improve their strategic investment decision making. We help them to avoid repeating their investment mistakes all over again and, on the other hand, identify their successful processes. It has been delightful to see that major firms have utilized in practice the organizational learning conducive framework for PCA design proposed by me when they have constructed their PCA systems. To conclude, in my research, I am interested in extending our current understanding of the firm's appropriate ways to create, acquire, and transfer their valuable strategic investment knowledge with the aid of post-completion auditing. Thank you very much.